Hare Hare Bipole Janam Koinu Manusha Janam Paya Radha Krishna Na Bhajiya Shuniya Bishakainu Golokeda Pramadhan Harinama Sankirtan Golokeda Pramadhan Harinama Sankirtan Ratina Janme Lokene Thai Ratina Janme Lokene Thai Samsara Bishanale Debane Shahiya Jale Judaite Na Koinu Upai Judaite Judaite Na Koinu Upai Brajendra Nandana Jai Shachi Shuddha Hoilo She Brajendra Nandana Jai Shachi Shuddha Hoilo She Baladama Hoilo Nithai Baladama Hoilo Nithai Baladama Hoilo Nithai Dina Hina Jot Chillo Hodina Me Udharilo Dina Hina Jot Chillo Hodina Me Udharilo Ta Shaki Jogai Madhan Tashaki Jogai Madhan Ha Prabhu Nanda Shuta Vrishabhanu Shuta Juta Ha Prabhu Nanda Shuta Vrishabhanu Shuta Juta Koduna Kodo Ebado Koduna Koduna Kodo Ebado Narottama Dasha Koi Nateli Hodanga Pai Narottama Dasha Koi Nateli Hodanga Pai Ke ache amma Toma bina ke ache amma Narottama Dasha Koi Nateli Hodanga Pai Nate Toma Bina Ke Ache Amma Toma Bina Ke Ache Toma Bina Ke Ache Amma Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Purvajakacharya Ashtatar Sarasri Srimadcha Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Shamaveta Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Nityananda Prabhu Shubhavivav Titi Mahamahacha Vaishnava Sammelan Ki Jai Gaudiya Premanandi Hari Hari Bol Bande aham Sri Guru Shri Jutapada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Shagurajatam Shahagaram Raganatam Vitang Tang Shajibam Shadaitam Shabadutam Parijana Shaitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Siddhartha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lalita Shri Bishakang Vitangscha Mantra Guru Ajota Shikha Guru Ganta Charane Age Korya Bandhan Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shandavari Prashtatade Shatarane. We were hearing how Lord Nityananda received the order from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda agya dilo jao gauda deshe anarga prema bhakti korho prakashe. Go to Gaudiya, Bengal, Anargal, without restriction, Prema Bhakti Korho Prakashe, distribute Krishna Prema. And Lord Nityananda, taking his Nijar Optagon, his intimate associates with him, he began, not knowing what direction to journey in, going here and there, left to right, overwhelmed. As soon as they began their journey, they were overwhelmed with ecstatic love of God. They had to get directions as they were going, oh, you're 20 miles off track, this and that. And gradually they arrived in Panihati Gram. And immediately upon arrival, after a long, long journey, Lord Nityananda Prabhu called his Vrindavan Gayak, his Madhav Ghosh, and began Sankirtan. Lord Nityananda Prabhu dancing in such ecstasy. Just by seeing Lord Nityananda dancing, the people were just, his glance falling upon the local people, they were filled with Krishna Prema, falling on the ground. Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he ordered the devotees to perform the Abhishek and carrying the Ganga Jal and pots and pots, they performed the Abhishek. And then Lord Nityananda dressed in fine garments, silken clothes, a beautiful turban with garlands or ornamenting and jewelry, alankar. Baro prita amar kadamba pushpa prati kadamba bone nitta amar boshati. I have a great attraction to kadamba flowers. Baro prita amar kadamba pushpa prati kadamba bone nitta amar boshati. I reside eternally in the kadamba forest. Bring me a garland of kadamba flowers. Oh, kadamba is not flowering this season. Just go take a look. Miraculously, he was able to collect the kadamba flowers from the lebu gach, from the lime tree. And Lord Nityananda, with great satisfaction, he accepted the garland of kadamba flowers. He dressed like a cowherd boy with all various ornaments and precious gems, and along with his associates, they wandered on both sides of Ma Ganga in that area, Panihati Gram, spreading Krishna consciousness just by seeing him performing kirtan. One was immediately love of God had awakened in one's heart. This is how Lord Nityananda Prabhu preached Krishna consciousness. Lord Nityananda Prabhu in Nadia also, he was preaching with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We are worshipping Lord Nityananda Prabhu in the mood of him preaching alongside of Śrī Caitanya Mahaprabhu, preaching together. E shikhaniya shabnadiya fiche neche go nitai Radha Krishna bola re shabai. E shikhaniya shabnadiya fiche neche. Dancing, fiche neche. This is the preaching of Gaurnitai. Dancing through the Shab Nadia, through the different villages and towns of Nadia. And this way they're preaching. This is why we're worshipping them in that mood, spreading Krishna consciousness. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he accepted sannyas. Sannyasaradharma hai shannash koriya nija janma sthane rohe kutumbalaya. It's not the duty of a sannyasi, sannyas koriya. Having accepted sannyas, sannyasaradharma nahe, it's not the duty. Nija janmastane rohe, to remain in one's place of birth, kutumbalaya, surrounded by family members. Mahaprabhu, he's explained his principle from his own lips in Shantipur. And so it was decided that Mahaprabhu would go to Jagannath Puri, and then Mahaprabhu, we see a change in the flavor of Gaushunda's preaching style. Immediately, he was attracting the attention of the most influential members of the society. And the first person he delivered was the Guru of Oriya, Guru of Pratapuruja Maharaja, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the most learned scholar in all Nyaya, in all of Bharat. And all of the sannyasis would come and learn from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and he said that I can reinitiate him. What a position he held. I can reinitiate him into the first class Saraswati sampradaya of sannyas. What influence he held. Who could do such a thing? This is the position, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And then Ramananda Roy, the governor of Madras, and Venkat Bhatta, the head priest of Sri Rangam temple. Sri Rangam temple, where you have to line up and run to get to Mangalati. You've seen? Running, all the priests running to get to Mangalati. You've seen as they open the gates, Sri Rangam. And immediately Mahaprabhu, he remained in the residence of Venkat Bhatta for 4 months and preached him Krishna consciousness. And Mahaprabhu, he would perform Sankirtan when he traveled Prayagraj. Prema Beshe Nache Prabhu, Hodi Dhoni Kori. In love of God, Prema Beshe Nache Prabhu, Hodi Dhoni, calling out the name. Keyo Kande, Keyo Hashe, Keyo Nache Gai, Krishna Krishna Bali, Keyo Gora Gori Jai. Inducing the people to laugh, dance, cry, sing, roll on the ground. Mahaprabhu without the big Sankirtan team. No van with loudspeakers. And mridangas. He's on his own. Prema Beshe, Nache Prabhu. In love of God, he's dancing. Hari Doni Kori, calling out the name of Hari. Bahu, Udva Bahu Kori, raising his arms. Udva Bahu Kori, Bolo Hari Hari, calling out Bolo Hari Hari. Mahaprabhu on his own, dancing. And they're delivering all of the influential people of society. So his request to Lord Nitya, the Nicha Potit Odom, the fallen, the rejected, the wretched, the miserable, the lowest of society, you go and deliver them in Bengal. So after spending 3 months in Panihati Gram, preaching with his associates, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, he desired to see Sachi Devi. He desired to see Sachi Devi. So he's journeying from Panihati to Navadip. And on the way, the next place he visited was Adi Shaptagram. It's a very often mentioned village in the Gaudiya literature, Shaptagram, Adi Shaptagram. And Srila Prabhupada actually describes that Shaptagram, at the time when Bengal, this is 500 years ago, Bengal was the most prosperous. It's East Bengal, West Bengal, now divided, destroyed Bengal. But then all of the raw materials produced in North Bengal, East Bengal, they would all go to the Ganga and then be shipped to various destinations, South India and abroad. So how significant was that part of the Ganga, just north of Calcutta, Shaptagram? And the residents there, they were Shuvarna Bonik. They were the gold merchants who had set up their residences and doing trade because it was so affluent place. Subsequently, the Ganga changed and that place, it became shallow and therefore no longer a significant trading port. So all of the Shaptagram, Subarna Maliks, the Boniks, they all came to Calcutta. And Prabhupada said they actually originally were they established the trading center of Calcutta, the Subarna Bonik Malik. And Prabhupada said, my ancestors were also from that place. So Nityananda Prabhu, he went to, now the Shaptagram Barniks, they were considered a socially inferior class because of an intrigue that had happened in the 300-400 years prior. During the reign of one Balal Shain and Lakshman Shain, the Hindu kings of Bengal in the 11th and 12th centuries. So there was a dispute between them and the Barniks in Saptagram, who were giving loans to the king and he wasn't repaying, and so they stopped giving the loans, and therefore he created a conspiracy against that community, and from that time on they were considered socially rejected. And for this reason, Nityananda Prabhu particularly desired to spread Krishna consciousness in Shaptagram. Shaptagrame Shab Bonike Gore Gore. In every house of the Boniks in Shaptagram, Apana Nitai Chand Kirtan Bihare. Lord Nityananda, he performed his pastimes of Kirtan in the homes of all of these Shaptagram Boniks. Nityananda Prabhu Mohima Apar. The glories of Lord Nityananda are unlimited. Bonik Odom Murka Jai Koilo Nishtar, who delivered the Bonik Odom Murko, the fools and the wretched, rejected class of the Boniks, who he delivered them. Shaptagrame Joto Hoilo Kirtan Bihar, the nectar, the pastimes of Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda's kirtan in Shaptagram, Sotta Borchodeo Taha Nahi Boniba. In 100 years you cannot describe. So in this way Lord Nityananda delivered Saptagram. Now also there is the residence of Udarandatta Thakur in Shaptagram. Udarandatta Thakur. And Prabhupada says that we are in the Gotra, we're in the family line of Udarandatta Thakur. And Prabhupada mentions that in my childhood, my family, my uncles and father would take me to Shaptagram, to the home of Udarandatta Thakur, and still you can visit, just as it was. He describes the deities of Shadabhuj and a Malati tree in the courtyard, and there is a Triveni Ghat where Saraswati, Jamuna, Ganga, Shanga, and Nityananda were bathed there. Just by seeing that place, you are delivered. So this is the great Acharya Udarandatta Thakur, and Lord Nityananda remained in his home there. It's a place that we occasionally visit in the Mayapur tourism. We visit there on occasion. So Tobe, Kotodine, Oilen, Shaptagrame, Nityananda Prabhu, after remaining for 3 months in Shaptagram, Kotodin, sometime, a few days in Shaptagram, Acharya Goshai Priya Bigraher Gohe, he reached Shantipur, and he met with Advaita Acharya Goshai, and their meeting was very enriching. They had been together. Lord Nityananda, he's not from, we'll hear on a Saturday about the birth of Lord Nityananda. We'll discuss on Saturday. Those of you who are inclined to hear, you are all invited and most welcome. The birth of Lord Nityananda in Eka Chakragram and his childhood pastimes and how he left that place. It's a very Gaudamodul Lila Jarkone Probeshila Riddo Nirmal Bhalota. By hearing the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and his most dear devotee, our hearts are cleansed. So he wasn't so much acquainted with Advaita Acharya in the early period of his pastimes. He came to Navadip after Mahaprabhu had begun the Sankirtan pastimes. Already 20 years. And Lord Nityananda, he was 32 years old when he came. He was 12 years older than Mahaprabhu. And then there's the meeting of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda in Nandan Acharya Bhavan. How fortunate I am. I have a Chotek, the Kutir there. We can hear the Mangalarti in the Nandan Acharya Bhavan to attain such a residence. What? Only the causeless mercy of the Vaishnavas. We go to the Ganga, we walk past Nandan Acharya Bhavan every day. So then they were together in Navadip, Panchatattva, distributing love of God, and then Lord Nityananda, he accompanied Mahaprabhu to Puri, and he remained there. We were discussing yesterday, he remained there whilst Mahaprabhu was a South Indian tour, 2 years. And then Advaita Acharya, he would come. He was the first person on the party when we were in Puri. We were discussing the Leela of the devotees coming. Gauda hoite Vaishnava Vashayachan Dui Shota. 200 devotees have come from Bengal. Mahaprabhu, the Bhakti Shab, Mahabhagavata. Devotees of Lord Chaitanya greatly advanced. And the leader was Advaita Acharya. So there was some, they would just, when Acharya Thakur would come to Jagannath Puri, he would associate also with Lord Nityananda. But now there have been some separation sometimes. So they were very much enlivened to be able to take association with each other. And Advaita Acharya Thakur, he was glorifying Lord Nityananda. Would you like to hear some of the things he said? Murka, Nicha, Adam Patit, Udarayite. The fools, the fallen, the lowest class, Murka, Nicha, Adam, Patit, the fallen, Udarayite, to deliver them to me, Abartinna Hoyeche. Priti Bitite, you have appeared in this world, Abartinna Hoyeche, to deliver the Nicha, the Murka, the Adam, the Patit. Jai Bhakti, Banchaye, Jogeshwar, Munigon, the devotion that is hankered after by the Jogeshwara and the Munigon, by the yogis and the rishis. Tama hoite taha, poibek jete John, you distribute that freely, indiscriminately, to one and another. That devotion which is hankered for by the yogis and the munis, you distribute freely to the unqualified. So in this way, there's extensive, you can read extensive conversation and interaction by Advaita Acharya and Nityananda Prabhu in Shantipur. And then, Tobe, Advaita Sthane Loy Onumoti, taking permission from Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Oilen Navadip Prati, he reached Navadip Dham. So upon reaching Navadip, just try to imagine Lord Nityananda, after going to Navadip, and only his business in Navadip was simply that Lord Nityananda, that's how you could do your PhD, on Lord Nityananda in Navadip. He only went there for Sankirtan with Maha. He was waiting in Vrindavan after traveling. We'll hear on Saturday how he traveled all over Bharat for 20 years. He left Ekachakra at the age of 12. And then for 20 years he traveled all over Bharat Bhumi like an itinerant mendicant. And then he was waiting in Vrindavan to get news that Gaudhari had begun the Sankirtan movement, and then he went to Navadip. Although he traveled all over Bharat and he's from Gaudadesh, he never went to Navadip, even though he went to, we'll hear on Saturday, but he never went to Navadip. So he arrived there only for the purpose of performing Sankirtan. And Mahaprabhu's, Nityananda Prabhu's mood in Navadip was very extraordinary, just like a cowherd boy. In fact, Malini Devi had to feed him like a young child. He couldn't get it together. He was like a cowherd boy. Gopa jati ami bahut gopagon shonge amra shuk pulin pai amra shuk paye pulin bojan ronge gopa jati ami. I'm a cowherd boy. And in Mayapur, this was his mood and preaching. This is a cowherd boy preaching in Nadia, dancing with his older brother. So then again he arrives. Now, at that time he was, now he arrives. And he first goes to see Sachi Devi. Nityananda Shraruper Deki Shachi Ai, when she saw Lord Nityananda, Ki Ananda Poilen Tar Antanai, the ecstasy she felt had no limit. She said, you are the super soul because you know everything. And I was yearning to see you. And immediately you appear from nowhere. Now you please stay in Navadip for 10 or 15 or 30 days. And smiling after listening to Sachi Devi's request, he said, I, that's from Srihata, that's Srihata Bhasha. That's the name of Sachi Devi from Srihata. I, you are the universal mother. The purpose of my coming to Navadip is to see you. More, boro icha, tomar, dekite hetai. I had such a strong desire to see you here Rohilang Navadipe Tomar Agai. According to your instruction, I will remain here in Navadip. And she said, stay 15 days, 20 days, or 30 days. Rohile Navadipe Tomar Agai. I will remain in Navadip according to your instruction. So what did Lord Nityananda do in Navadip? He didn't waste time. Navadipe Nityananda Prati Ghore Ghore. In every house, shop, Parishad Shange, Kirtan, Bihare, along with all of his associates, he performed Kirtan in every house in Navadip. Previously, he was ordered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The preaching began in Navadip. Similarly, Ghore Ghore is mentioned. Is that Shuno Shuno Nityananda, Shuno Haridash, Shabatra Amaragai, Koraho Prakash. You preach my order, my instructions everywhere. Prati Ghore Ghore Giye, Koro E Bika, Bolo Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Koro Krishna Shika. Do every home. Prati Ghore Ghore Giye. Having gone to every home. Bolo E Bika, you preach, you beg. Bolo Krishna, Bhaja Krishna, Koro Krishna Shika. Chant Hare Krishna, worship Krishna, follow Krishna's instructions. So now again, Shab Parishad Shange, Kirtan, Bihare, his pastime of Kirtan in every house in Navadip. He would dress in a very attractive way to go on the preaching, with many colored silk cloths around his head, and strands of flower garlands in those turbans. He wore on his chest was covered with glittering necklaces of gold and pearls and many studded gems. From his ears dangled golden earrings set with shiny white pearls. Bejeweled armlets and bracelets graced his hands and arms. Different parts of his body were exquisitely decorated with designs of sandalwood paste. Sometimes he picked up an iron rod and held it in both hands, his fingers decorated with golden rings. He carried with him a cane, a flute, a horn stuck in his belt. With leisurely carelessness, his gait like a royal elephant. With every step, silver ankle bells jangled musically. Henomote Nityananda Param Koituke. With great happiness, in this way, Nityananda Achen Chaitanya Janma Bhumi Navadipe. He remained in Chaitanya Bhumi Navadipe. Now Navadip was such a place that Vrindavan Das Thakur describes that Navadipe Shampoti Ke Borne Bare Pare. Who can describe the opulence of Navadip? Ek Ganga Ghate Loka Lok Shnan Kore. In one ghat, 100,000 people were bathing. Who can describe the opulence of Navadip? Even now, we have festivals, many devotees coming to Navadip, but in one ghat, 100,000? Not 100,000, maybe 200-300. Maybe on the Gaur Purnima day, maybe more than 500, maybe 1,000. Every day in the ghat, Lokalok Shnan Kore, 100,000. Can you imagine? There were so many ghats. Just imagine the opulence of Navadip Dham. And why it was Chaturdik Hoite Log Navadip Vijay, from all directions people would come to Navadip because it was their place of learning and scholarship. Navadip Porile She Bidarash Pai. If you study in Navadip, you get the taste for learning. So they were just like in Mayapur, Iskcon, Janinivas Das Brahmachari. He told me once that when he was first in Mayapur, on Gaur Purnima day, Gaur Purnima Day, where's that clock? No clock? Nitai Chand Abadut, we don't need clock. We're discussing Abadut Shiromani, we don't need clock. Just like in Jani Nivas, Prabhu was telling me that on Gaur Purnima Day, when he was first in Mayapur, on Gaur Purnima Day, there were 50 guests. 50 guests. And how Navadip Mayapur how it has grown. But it's growing. It's like the highway out there. In fact, a few years ago, they expanded the Bhaktisiddhanta Road. The next day, it was full. And the next day, and it's full. How is it possible? Immediately it fills up. Like Temple of Vedic Planetarium, we're planning on opening soon. With our eyes, if we get blessed of Lord Nityananda, who predicted, Ek hoibe odbhut mondir, Gauda Nitya Shaiva hoibe bikash. He predicted. His own predicted the mandir. We will see with our own eyes. It's once in a day of Brahma. Such an event, and we're all fortunate to be on this planet at that time. So many people coming to Mayapur, but they're not all devotees. They're not all devotees. People come because there's so much. What is the word? Prosperity. All types of people come, set up businesses. Not just the Hindus. Not just the Hindus. So many people are coming to Navadip. It's like that. So at this time, when it was the head of learning in all of Bharat, then there are so many people there. There were many pious people there, and there were many wretched sinners. Apane Chaitanya Kota Korelo Mochan Lo Chaitanya, he personally delivered so many. Nityananda Dware Udarilo Tribhuvan, and he delivered the 3 worlds through Lord Nityananda. Shuno Shuno Nityananda Prabhur Akhyan. Listen to the descriptions of Lord Nityananda. Shuno Shuno. Vrindavan Das Thakur is encouraging us. Shuno Shuno. Nityananda Prabhur Akhyan, the descriptions of Lord Nityananda. Chor Doshu Jay Morte Gorilla Bodhitran, how he delivered the thieves and the rogues, how he delivered the dacoits. Chor Doshu, that word is there, you know that word in Hindi? Some word like that? Doshu, Chor Doshu Jay Morte Gorilla Bodhitran, how he delivered the dacoits in Navadip. Shuno Shuno Nityananda Prabhu Akhyan. Navadipe Boshe Ek Brahman Kumar. Taha Shaman Chor Dosu Nahi Ar. There was one young Brahman in Navadip, and there was no equal to him amongst the dacoits and rogues. He was an arsenal of all depraved habits, and he was the leader of the dacoits. He was brutally malicious, and he was always in the company of rogues. So when he saw, when this Brahman Kumar, when he saw Lord Nityananda bedecked with the priceless jewels and fine cloth, he desired to steal those jewels. So the dacoit, he joined the Sankirtan of Lord Nityananda and went along with the Sankirtan party from house to house, waiting for the opportunity, the right time to plunder the jewels from the body of Lord Nityananda. So, being aware of everything, Lord Nityananda, he set up camp in the house of Hiranya Pandit, whose house was a little out of town. Hiranya Pandit naam ek Shubh Brahman. She Nabadip Borshe Maha Akinchon. He was one very pious Brahmin, and he lived very frugally, Akinchon. So his house was a little outside of the main area in somewhat of a secluded place. The leader of the dacoits, he said to his dacoit associates, "Are bhai, shab aro kene duko pai." Ha, brothers, why in the future there'll be no more misery in our lives? Why we will have unhappiness anymore? Chandi Maye, Chandi Devi, the worshipable Devi, Chandi Maye, Niti Milailo Ektai, our worshipable goddess Chandi, she has bought all the wealth and put it in one place. E obudute ongete alankar, e obudute ongete alankar. The decorations, the jewels on the limbs of this abadut. Hey, abadute, ongete, alankar, shona, mukta, hira, kasha. Boy, you cannot see such gold, such pearls, such diamonds, such gems. Kotolaka, taka, taka. Kotolaka, taka. Kotolokataka padarta nahi janiya. We cannot account. We cannot make a count. Kotolokataka, same word. Kotolokataka padarta nahi jani. We cannot count. We cannot add up. Chandi Maye Ektai Milaya Ani. She's brought it all and put it in one place for us. So gather your swords and shields, brothers. Tonight we shall meet and raid that house of Haranya Pandit and loot everything. So then they dispersed, eagerly awaiting for night to fall. So then they collected their weapons, and then they were waiting nearby Haranya Pandit's house, and they sent a spy inside to get a report on what's going on. What the spy saw, oh, respected Vaishnav Shammelan, would you like to hear? The spy came back and he described to the dacoits, Nityananda Prabhu Koren Bhojan. The Nityananda, he is eating Chaturdike Harinam Loy Bhaktagan. And all around him, Chaturdike Harinam Loy Bhaktagan. His associates are chanting the Harinam. Some of the devotees roared jubilantly like thunder, and others cried in insatiable joy, and others clapped their hands and laughed. Others called out, "Hoi, hoi, 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 kore, kono John, hoi, 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 hoi." They called out in the kirtan, "Hoi, hoi, 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 kono, kore, kono John, Krishna Nande, Nidra Nahi, Shabai Cheton." And no one slept in ecstasy. Krishna Anande, Nidra Nahi, Shabai Cheton. No one slept. It's night time, but no one's sleeping. They're calling out, "Hi, hi, hi," crying, dancing, laughing, clapping. And Lord Nityananda is taking prasadam. The avadut is eating, he said. Everyone else is wide awake, jubilant. Okay, the dacoit said, let them eat and then sleep, and then we will attack. So they made themselves comfortable under a tree and settled down to wait. And then, whilst they were resting under the tree, they began dreaming about their future fortunes. One said, "I want the gold bracelets." Another said, "I will take the pearl necklaces." Another fancied, the earrings are for me. Another dreamed, I'll have the gold chains and necklaces. Someone else said, but leave the silver ankle bells for me. And in this way they went on dreaming of their prospective enormous riches. So just then, by Lord Nityananda's desire, slumber, deep sleep, overcame the dacoit gang as they were comfortably under the tree, chatting about their prospects of looting Lord Nityananda's jewelry. Deep sleep overcame them. How deep was that sleep? How deep was that sleep? Shekhone, Gumaila, Shab, Dusha, Gan, Nidraya, Hoilo, Shabai, Hoile, Acheton. The sleep, they were unconscious, the sleep. The sleep was so deep they fell what we describe unconscious. In the morning, the crows' harsh calling woke them up. Quack, quack, quack. They were so disheartened and frustrated to find that the night had passed. They collected their weapons, just listen, and they kept their weapons in safe hiding, and they all went to the Ganga to take their baths. This is Navadip Dham. Even the dacoits and the thieves, they take bath in Ma Ganga. Such cultured thieves. They began blaming each other. You were the first to fall asleep. Oh, so you stayed awake all night? And then the young Brahman, the dacoit leader, he said, oh, brothers, what is the use of these arguments? Whatever happened was due to Goddess Chandi's desire. I can understand that because we did not worship Mother Chandi before this program, she has deluded us all. Bhalo kori, in a proper way. Bhalo kori aj shabai modda mangsha diye. Today, in a very attentive and very proper way, bhalo kori aj shabai modda mangsha niye, with wine and meat. Chalo shabai ektai chandi puja kori. We will go and worship Chandi Devi. So they collected all the required ingredients of meat and wine and worshipped Goddess Chandi that night. And then, the next day, they sharpened and cleaned their weapons. And in that night, they came again to the residence of Haranya Pandit in dark blue clothes. So hiding near the house, they were looking and they saw many sentries, guards, security. But they weren't just ordinary security you hire and not like that. Ordinary. They were all giant-sized men, able-bodied, and they carried many different weapons. And they walked about guarding the house. Shabar golai mala, sharba ange chandan, around their necks there was a garland. And sharba ange chandan, chandan on their limbs. Nirabadi koriyache nam shankirtan. And constantly they were chanting the holy name of the Lord. Nityananda Prabhu Achen Shayone. Lord Nityananda, he's in the house lying down resting. Nityananda Prabhu Achen Shayone Chaturdike Krishna Gai Shai Shabgane. Krishna Gai Shai Shabgane, these huge celestial sentries with weapons and garlands and tilak on their foreheads and chandan on their limbs. They're chanting Krishna's names as they're going around and around the house. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The dacoits were struck with wonder. From where have these centuries come? Suddenly. The Avadut, he must have known our plan and bought these centuries. No. Keo bole, bhai Avadut bodo gyani. Bhai Avadut bodo gyani. He's a wise, he's a seer. Avadut bodo gyani. Maje onek log muke shuni. I hear sometimes, many people say, the Avadut, he's a seer, he's a visionary, he can see these things. He must have known our plan and bought these centuries. The Avadut is so intelligent, Borogyani. He arranges for his own protection. Otherwise, where have these soldiers who are extraordinary beings, where have they come from? Another dacoit said, people call him Goshai. He has such great influence. People call it, when we're saying people call him Goshai. Goshai, Avadut Goshai. Nitai Goshai. He has such influence. He can see. He knows everything. Another say, oh brother, you fool. How can one who eats so lavishly and dresses like him be called a Goshai? And then the young Brahmin leader, he came to the conclusion. He said that, I see many powerful and influential people come to meet the Avadut. So I think that these centuries must be the soldiers of some powerful king. The soldiers are all sentimental, and for that reason they chant the name of Hari. So let us just wait for as long as these centuries are here, accompanying their respective king. We'll wait, and maybe after 10 days, he will be gone, and they will also go, and then we can return. So until then, let us disperse and go back to our homes quietly. So the dacoits, they left that place and were gone. And Nityananda Prabhu, inside his house, he continued to perform his pastimes. Nityananda Charan Bhajaye Jai Jai Jane. Nityananda Charan Bhajaye, those who worship Jai Jai Jane, whoever worships Nityananda Charan Bhajaye, whoever worships the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, Sharva Bigna Khande Taha Shabai Shmarane. Just by remembering his lotus feet. No, just by remembering those who worship the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. Sharva Bigna Khande Taha Shabai Shanane. Those who remember the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda by remembering them. Those who worship the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda by remembering them. Nityananda Charan Bhajaye Jai Jai Jane, Sharva Bigna Khande Taha Shabai Sharane. By remembering those who worship the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, all the Sharva Bigna, all the obstacles are destroyed. If a person remembers topics of even Nityananda's servants, all of his sinful thoughts are destroyed. Lord Nityananda's partial expansion is Rudra, Lord Shiva, the destroyer of the entire material world. Another expansion of the Lord's partial expansion is Lord Ananta, who holds the cosmic manifestation on his hoods, on one of his hoods. Who can make such a supremely powerful Lord fearful of anything or anyone? Sharva Navadipe, Kore Shachanda Kirtan, all through Navadip, Kore Shachandra Kirtan. Swachanda, the bliss of himself. Swachanda Kirtan, Swachande Koren Krida Bhojan Shayan, enjoying the bliss of himself. he eats and sleeps. Sharba Ange, Shakal, Amulla, Alankar, on all of his limbs are decorated with Amulla Alankar, priceless decorations and jewels. Jeno Deki Baladev, Rohini Kumar. Jeno Deki Baladev, Rohini Kumar. Just like Lord Balaram, the darling son of Rohini Devi. So the dacoits, they made another attempt to lay siege on Lord Nityananda's residence, and we will hear about that tomorrow evening. Yes? Yeah, tomorrow evening. We'll hear about the last effort of the dacoits to lay siege on the house of Haranda Pandit and plunder the jewels of Lord Nityananda. Nityananda Prabhu Shubha Abhibhav Titi Mahamahotsav Shammelan ki Srila Prabhupada ki Shamabeta Gaud Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Sisi Nitai Gauda Shitanath Pramanande Hori Hori Bol.
Hang Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalang Sri Guru Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Caitanya-Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,